and welcome back to an episode of Raw Truth. Today's a really fun episode because Karen and I were just like, let's just free flow. Let's just have a conversation and see where it takes us. Basically, this episode consists of me throwing it at Karen on the spot, questions that I have that I just evolved into a conversation about some amazing things. So in this episode, we talk about forgiveness, we talk about ego, we talk about
insecurity.
Yeah, let's do that again.
We go in on insecurities, like how to identify them in yourself, pick them apart, pull them out, and then reinstill the confidence so then you can be confident in that area, and the power of insecurities and hanging out with them and like mastering them.
It's really cool because we talk about some experiences that I've had in LA so far, and I'm gonna go in on like talking about different people's ego, how you can just like identify that, like how big their ego is, and Karen just breaks down. It's like, this is why they act that way, and this is how you address it, and this is how you can overcome it in yourself. So many things. Plus, it's just an amazing combo that went a little longer than normal. So if you want to listen in further, please continue watching or listening on podcasts.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about today?
So today, I don't know what I want to talk about because so many things are always like running through my head. Like literally, actually, you know what? Like my brain doesn't stop like one thing. It's like constantly. It's like a domino, and you just hit it, and then it just goes on forever. Like I just keep thinking about the next thing. Like, this is why I don't meditate. I wonder if, because it's so hard. You don't meditate either, though.
I meditate every second.
Oh my gosh, here's some deep shit now. My life is a meditation.
No, not true. I don't meditate every second, but like I can meditate if I'm just walking or whatever. Meditating isn't like this big trance that you think it is. It's like...
Yeah, it's like noticing your thoughts but not being attached to them.
It's being the awareness of the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves.
But not thinking upon the thoughts.
Exactly, which is what I said. That's so cool, you remember that, because that was what I said last... So you know Really Deep, last episode?
Yeah.
I was trying to tell you about the bridge between self and the awareness of self and how to get over there. And you said to me, can you simplify it? And I said, I really struggled. Remember, I was like, it's difficult for me to find the right dialogue sometimes to be able to communicate the process or the bridge. And I said to you, it's about being able to be still, and everything happens in that stillness. But you didn't really know what I meant by stillness, right? Stillness is the ability to be aware of the thoughts and watch them think and operating from that awareness. So you're the awareness. You're not the thinking of the thoughts. And that's like, it's a hard thing to get, because that's where change begins. That's where same self-mastery, all these things. So it's not that I meditate as such, like go in a trance and hum and all that, and I'm sure that like has amazing benefits too, but it's just not my thing. And maybe I would be a better person if I did, I don't know. But I know that like meditation doesn't serve just one perception of how to do it. Like if I'm really in with you right now and I am not anywhere, and I'm just, so that's meditating, because you're in a deep-seated consciousness. You're not in the surface consciousness.
You know what I'm thinking we should do today? I think we should just let it flow, and I'm going to ask Karen questions that may be random because, like I said, my brain's just always going a mile a minute. And I'll try to keep them like in the direction of our conversation, but I kind of just want to throw questions at Karen and make her just answer them on the fly and question her more when she comes back with confusing answers.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I love it that like, honestly, we didn't have a name for this episode. Like Ayesha always comes up with really cool names to episodes.
I usually plan. I'm like,
well, she's like,
she's
more like this week I've been feeling this and I want to know this and this, right? This week, she didn't really have anything. She was like, oh, we could this, but nothing really sat with me. She didn't really, it was just like topics to talk about instead of like it really being something that's been sitting with her and discussing that. So today we're just being real about it and calling it free flow, because it's just coming out exactly what comes out in the episode.
I'm gonna hammer you with questions. Like, I already have some ideas in mind. Like, just like questions I just want to ask Karen.
Excited!
Like, I'm just gonna try to, like, hopefully you guys have the same, like, you've grown to know Karen and my personality. So I'm just gonna throw the questions that maybe you wanted to ask, but you just can't ask. So I'm gonna do it for us.
I'm gonna give it.
So Karen, how do you live life so graciously? How are you so chill all the time? Like, she's literally like a surfer. Like, I know if you don't like the term, like, I'm just saying, like, your aura is like a surfer, chill, what's up, bro, like, kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
How do you achieve that? And it's not because she lives by the water. I swear, like, she was not living here. Like, if she was living in Mississauga, where I'm from, in Canada, and she was in a residential area with nothing, like, scenic like this, she would still be that. That's what I'm saying. Just to back you.
That's funny because my mom says that. My mom says that same thing. She's always like, it doesn't matter. They could throw you in the middle of the desert. They could
and
put
I feel
you
like
anywhere.
all you guys just, like, see her social and you're like, oh, she's a surfer beach lady. Nah. Because she's like this from the inner core.
So that's like, first of all, I don't own or think it's my fault or because I've done a lot of a work or achieved a lot that I'm this way. Like, I don't own it. I've had my nan who was in my life, who I idolized from a really young age. She was like a Buddha. Like, literally, like, if there was anything, I've never met anybody like her. But being around that energy and aspiring to be that way, I think just from a very, very young age, 2 or 3 years old, maybe that, like, indirectly affected how
There's so many things to say to you.
How I'm coming out. But don't, like, get it twisted. I can still have a moment of, like,
not often though. Like, in the whole time I've known you, like, you
because in the time where that was me, that can be me for years. Like, I can really go years without really getting like ruptured or anything. But when you're in love and, you know, and things happen and you get hurt and you get, you know, you can still have clarity on things. Like, if you get betrayed or lied to, or, you know, someone takes from you, or just things like that, you can still forgive. And in that moment of forgiveness, you're back to your peace and you're good. But still within that moment, it's not that I'm automatically, someone, like, comes and shoots me in the stomach and then I'm hugging them straight away. Do you know, there's a moment of time there where I'm not that peace, where I have an immediate reaction.
But you aren't, like, a bitch. Like, sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not, but that's because,
like, her immediate response isn't to just be mean back to someone, or to, like, fight fire with fire, or, like, a issue comes your way and you don't hate the world or go into victim mentality, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, that is maybe,
like, your response is something we all want to adopt. How do you get these responses? What made you have these initial responses to life? Like, your nan taught you all this?
She has a lot of peace, and she is, like, way better than me, way more perfect in the sense of being able to have water with fight fire with water. Yeah.
How much were you around her growing up?
A lot. I used to go to her house after school every day. I would go there, like, just to help her do, like, clean her floors or whatever she needed. I just loved being around her. She used to, like, make me this minestrone soup, and I just loved. She wasn't a big talker. She didn't really talk much at all. She wasn't a big talker.
So how did you pick up on all these things?
Her aura is like a Buddha. Like, it is, like, the most
peaceful.
She had a ton of grandchildren, like 30, 40 grandchildren. Everyone loved being around her. And
I really strongly feel that the way we're brought up in life, like our families, our parents that birthed us, I feel like all these experiences, like they say when you're young, all these experiences shape you. Like, it's the way you kind of respond and view life is based off of, like, how you viewed things when you were a child, or different things that you went through. So if someone had a harmful experience as a child, or they have something they can't take back, or, like, something happened to them out of their control, and they're kind of like, that's molded the way they are, it's work
But
to...
it's also like what you, because my sister and I had the same upbringing with the same exposures.
Yeah.
But my sister is super hot-headed.
Why?
But my sister is super hot-headed. She's a bit. I'm not a better person or not a better person. It's not about good or bad or anything. It's just that I have a more peaceful response to things than she does. She has
Why
a more
and
emotional
how?
reaction response to, and like, why and how?
Like, why do you think she didn't respond?
Because she has a different personality. Like, when I was around my nan, I aspired to be that way, so I paid attention to it. So my sister, maybe she was around my nan and she was like, oh, but it's not something she ever thought to aspire to be like, or to try to be, or to try and pay attention to in such a way that you can adopt those things. And so that's why I was saying, like, it's so important that the role models that you choose for yourself, it's important that you choose humble role models and that you choose positive role models. And you know, if you're not, let's say you're choosing, like, I don't know, there are all these games like Fortnite and all these like violent games. I don't know if Fortnite's even violent, actually, I just said that, but there's a lot of like violent video games, and you can aspire to be, and I do believe this is why there's a lot of violence. You can aspire to be someone that's not a good person, right? It might not even be a real person, or it might be, maybe it's, you know, and then you follow in those footsteps because you subconsciously are drawn to that. And looking at that deeper, why you're drawn to that, like, even if it's a dark energy or like the bad guy or something, looking at why that is in yourself and getting to what your insecurity is. And I think that's something like within the free flow. I'm going to opportunize on the free flow and like talk about insecurities for like 2 minutes, because like if you really can sit with your insecurities and really be able to identify your insecurities, you can then identify those same insecurities in others, and you can see them and manage them and you know, kind of, I don't know, run circles around them in a sense, like, because you have such clear, but it's hard. Most people, they know insecurities, but they don't know what triggers them. So for example, it's something, I might react to something and I'm reacting out of fear or scared or all these things, not recognizing it's my insecurity that's reacting. The deeper part of me is my insecurity. Mm-hmm. So do you know what, are you with me? Yeah. So looking at that and being like, why do I feel like I'm less than here, or why do I feel like I'm not adequate, or why do I feel like I don't measure up, that's causing this insecurity, that's causing me to react in this emotional way, you know, in this like victim way, or this like I want to fight back way, or this, you know, it's...
How do you identify that though? Like, say you're like, okay, why did I react this way to someone? And then once you do that, what's next? Like, you think about an experience of why you are responding in that manner.
One more time. Sorry.
So you're saying the first step is, you're saying the way you respond to other things that happen to you is based off of an insecurity.
Not always, but sometimes. Like, say, for an example, you're out and you had a breakup, and you're out with your friends and you see your ex with another person. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, what is a normal or a surface deep trigger that might be? Would it be happiness that your ex is happy that she's or he is with another girl or boy, or would it be jealous and like hate and want to make them feel pain and want to go, like, what's your reaction to that? Or do you just want to like go straight up to them and be like, what are you doing, and da 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 da?
Are you asking me for me personally? Yeah, like in that sense, like I'm usually at peace, because like if it ended, I usually come to acceptance.
Okay,
like,
but say but let's say they're, so if they're with another person, and you see them out, people will have multiple different reactions to that.
I could definitely seeing someone being like, oh my god, like jealous, I guess.
But all these things accumulate one thing: pain, right? Hurt in the self, or scared, or a feeling. It creates a feeling, right? And if it doesn't create a feeling other than happiness, like true happiness, not like some bullshit like, oh, I'm happy for her, like, oh, I'm happy for him, oh, I'm glad he's got, not that. More like, and it comes from and this is what I mean, the insecurity. If you're insecure, you're going to feel like that person, you know, is better, or they're moving on, or you're inadequate, or you're in some way not worth them, or something like that. Where if you're confident and you know who you are, your reaction to them is like, that's great. They're going to go through that. They're going to enjoy it. They're going to enjoy that process of that person. The fact that that's what they're either using for healing or to heal, or that's what's meant the universe has brought them right now. And you're at such peace with that because you just know that it's not, this is what's right. It's right. The universe is what's right. And what happens in the path of the universe is meant to be.
I love that. For someone who is like, who would respond in that way and would feel like that, how would you say to them, okay, this is how you can start to shift to feel like that and have your peaceful response?
You have to think and be able to reflect on yourself and know yourself. You have to be, you know, I always say, like, brutally honest with yourself, like brutally honest. Brutal honesty is being able to be like, okay, where am I insecure? Where am I like broken, so to speak? Or where am I like, I don't feel like the boss when I walk in a room? Or where am I like, I know like if I say that's mine or I'm going to get it or whatever, what are the doubts within that? Where are my insecurities? Where do they lie? What triggers them? First of all, that's the first step, is like just being honest with where am I? Because if you're not feeling anything other than like, I got this, like this is all good, this is perfect, I'm getting it, I'm like, I always say to her, fuck up proof. That doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. Mistakes are awesome. They're your perfect mistakes to make. That's a part of your experience that you're supposed to make them. And you don't feel the like know of it. You might even get jet fuel because of a mistake. So like it's not about like a right, wrong, good, bad, or an attaining like a destination. So yeah, winding it back.
I said, how does someone become that way and adopt a peaceful response?
Yeah, so first is seeing them for what they are, like seeing that this is where I'm insecure, and this is what triggers it, and this is what limits me from being my lion self and being my boss self on that situation.
Got you. I have a question, because you made me think of something when you were talking. Where do you think ego comes from? Because I feel like maybe in men, guys don't hate me, but like, it seems to be like
every single
stronger.
Person, it's not where
everyone
ego comes
has
from.
ego, but like what builds ego? What, like, I just want to talk about ego. Like, why do you think some people have bigger ego than others? Like,
I think the word ego is a little misrepresented.
It's used a lot.
Yeah, because it's not what ego just means self, like mind, human mind. That's ego. When people say like he's got a big ego, he's got an inflated sense of self.
What does that mean?
So it means like he's really insecure, basically, because it's like someone that's really insecure has to tell you how amazing they are, has to put all themselves out there.
I want to do an example for the people.
Okay.
So I've been meeting, I love to talk to people. If you guys watched our intro and you heard
tell them about the girl.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what if she's watching this? I don't think she is because she's so busy. But like, so I love to talk to people wherever I go. And being in LA, I find it's really cool to, like, I'm not saying you meet celebrities everywhere you go, but everyone's an influencer. Like, you can bump into people who have like a large following online, and I always tell Karen about my experiences because like for some reason I've been meeting quite a bit of people, around, just around, and I'll go up to them and talk to them, or if I didn't know they were like an influencer, I'll talk to them anyway. I just talk to everyone. So I told Karen I went to an event.
We got 25 minutes.
Well, we'll make it longer. It's fine.
It's so good.
So I went to an event on the weekend that I got invited to, and it was a retreat in Malibu. Follow me on Instagram if you're not, because I post stories in real time about all these cool events.
Give it to them!
So, this event, it was a retreat. There was like fitness classes, a lot of like fitness people were there. Basically, like after one of the yoga classes, I met this lady who did the class, and I don't know, I just started talking to her. She looked nice. I was like, hey, like, right to the event, and then she basically was like, I was like, what's your name? She's like, you don't know who I am? Like, I'm blah, 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 insert name here. She's like, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like, she's like, 100-time internationally published cover model, sports newscaster, like, she's like one of the speakers of, like, she's not even on, like, a TV show or anything, like she's on, like, cable for something.
And how did you react to that?
Runs all these apps, like, basically, like, the shit, apparently. If, like, she could write, like, I'm the shit on her forehead, it would be there. I was just, like, feeding her ego more. I was like, that's so dope, like, tell me more, like, oh, that's awesome, like, I'm so grateful to, I, like, just have fun with it, because I'm like, I know she'll, like, love it and, like, eat it up more if I could just, like, stroke her ego more and, like, have fun with this. So I just, like, literally played it up. But the people who were around us, like, watching us talk, like, they all left because, like, this girl's just, like, talking about herself. And I just thought it was funny because I was like, let's just embrace this moment and let her embrace this ego because it's amusing. And, like,
and she was enjoying it. You felt her enjoying it.
Like, loving it. And then she's like, take a picture with me. Oh yeah, she was like, I love Toronto, like, you're from Toronto, I have all my people in Toronto, I've done multiple shoots in Toronto. And she's like, take a picture with me, and she's like, you should post it in your story, you're gonna get so many followers, some people are gonna reach out being like, oh my god, you met, insert name here. And then I was like, oh yeah, totally, like, I actually didn't mind. I was like, cool, we'll get a picture together, like, I'll have a picture to story for the event. And then she's like, made me take, like, a bunch because she's like, I have to like it. And she's like, I'll repost it, then you'll get so many followers. And then I actually, like, she did repost it, and I didn't get any. Like, I got, like, a couple. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't want, like, more creepy men following me. Because, like, that's what your following is. But anyway, it's just so funny.
But, point is, her ego, right, was very prevalent. And so with that, it gave off a vibe which many people would react differently, right? Many people would react differently.
People walked away from her.
So,
how's anyone listening?
Right. So, but you have some awareness. So that was why you were like, let me engage for a minute. So, like,
I thought it was cool to see different. I don't know.
So, yeah. So what's interesting is that someone like that actually has a lot of suffering. And it's sad. And it's sad because they're yearning all the time. They're thirsty and they're hungry.
Like, they need to self-validate all the time.
It's not self-validate. They need you to validate. And they need to...
The conversation got funnier. I'm thinking about more things she said to me.
But it's not... It's, it's like... You can look at it and see it's funny. I wouldn't have been able to sit... Like, this is just me. Like,
she was like, oh...
I wouldn't have been able to sit and listen... to her do it, and not from like it. I would want to help her, like I would want to sit her down and be like, listen.
Oh, here's a question: how do you help someone who would be like, I don't need help? Like, she would literally be like, what do you mean? I'm internationally published 100 times.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that. Like, it's all about how you.
Because you help people who want to get help because they pay
not just people want. People don't even know that they need help and it's not. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. So I don't know that I would have met her and necessarily felt the urge to do it because I might not have even got that far.
Like,
through example,
she clearly like could not, like, she would never ask for help.
She's not content with herself. She's not. Yeah, but you don't know. You can only experience her ever through your eyes. So it's like you're saying this help and this help. You wouldn't see her through the same lens as I would. You wouldn't pick up on the same things. You're paying attention to different things about her, and there's also you that's in there. So with that, it's like there's no me in there when I'm experiencing her, and I would be looking at her completely differently, and it's not.
How would you look at her, and why would you say she's suffering? Just so we can like put it into context for someone who's like, I don't know why she's suffering. She seems great.
Nah, she's suffering because she's in the game and she doesn't feel like she's winning. And so because of that, she feels like a loser and she's trying to prove it all
How
over
is she
the
a
place.
loser if she got that?
It's the same way that you think that you're not achieving.
Oh,
snap.
Raw truth.
So, but...
that was some raw truth.
Well, it was like, wow. But, you know, the point is that people aren't what they tell you. People aren't anything what they tell you. But it's being able to have the insight and the clarity and moving yourself out of the way to really see where she's in pain. And, like, it's, you know, I don't want to say pain, like she's not crying every day, not that type of pain. She's suffering with herself, right? Because someone that wasn't, they definitely wouldn't feel the need to prove or, like, go so hard at telling everyone who they are. They would actually find that annoying. It's like annoying to talk about yourself. It's like annoying to say, you don't want that. You don't want people liking you for what you can help, what you can do, or what you've got, or that's like no longer becomes what you attain for. You actually want the opposite. All you do is really want like a bit of solitude and a bit of peace and just breathe your own air in and out. Like that's someone that's like not confident, and that's someone that's, you know, doesn't need other people, you know, affirmating who they are or trying to be on the pedestal that they wish that they were on. So it's, you know, it's just through what eyes you look at when you listen to someone and how you receive it. Like, you feeding into it is great for you.
It's fun.
For her, it's disservicing her. Because she's playing an actor in the moment, but disservicing her long term, because that's how she's going to, you just affirmated her. So you just told her this is the way to behave. And this is what the whole of LA do, is people like play into it and be like, oh, yeah, and giving them what people want or they think they want. They feed the ego, and that's how they like climb the ladder, or they move in. People want that, and people will even keep insecure people will keep those people around them just to make them feel good, and not the real deals. I'm talking like the trying to get there ones. And if they're there, sometimes even if they're there, they still keep it because it feels comfortable, and they need that, like, you know, that people that keep like straight shooters in their corner, which are people that are going to tell them things that they're not going to like, and people that are like going to get people that keep those people in their corner, they're the people that are on, they're the people not only that they're confident, they're the movers, they're the power players, they're the ones that are happy, they're usually successful, they're usually on some real boss shit, and they're the ones calling the real shots. You can't call the shots when you have insecurities. You can only like look at them and allow them to feel you a certain way, and then need that covered up, and then need that, like that's, you're operating like that. You're not operating as like a power player or a move player that's going, yep, that's what that is, that, yep, that needs, yep, that's there, like you got it from an up here, down.
Then why is it so common for all these people, like, she's not the first. Like, you said it. You're like, all of LA is like, it's like that. So like, why is are you saying everyone's insecure? Because you're right.
Not everyone. It's not everyone.
But a lot of people do that. They like have to boast about themselves in society.
It's not.
Improve themselves, like in the smaller scale too.
It's a few things. It's true. It's a few things though. It's like we also live in a society where there's a fine line between like boasting and saying, yo, this is how dope I am, and between sharing what you're doing in your life. Like,
people will say, like, for example, like if you meet someone, then they're like, oh, I'm the CEO of Google, or like not.
So the CEO of Google would never do that.
Okay,
and that
example. But what about like if they just own like a big company, like they're the CEO of something, like that's not who you are. Like when someone like introduces themselves, like that's how they.
But they wouldn't though. Like I've been around enough CEOs that wouldn't,
so
and then they're not like the real deal. Like someone that's like, no, seriously, like for real, someone that introduces themselves as, yo, I'm the CEO of da 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 da. Or in the first 3-4 seconds, let me tell you right now, like, they ain't that. Someone that's like really a CEO or doing some like
or
real
big time actress and model.
They're not telling it because you would already know it. And so like that is, you know, you're talking about different levels. Like I'm talking about like the top level. Do you think Nicki Minaj goes around and goes like, yo, hey, I'm a rapper. Yo, hey, come on. Put all that down. Like that talk, that like
but a lot of people do that. Like everywhere I go, like even in university, Sehra actually, like our videographer, knows, like she went to Ivy. It was like our business school at
killer
university.
Videographer, by the way, Sehra.
It's like it's hard to get into Ivy. It's a really prestige school program that our school offers, and a lot of like I remember being I was in school for kin, but I remember like being at the gym and meeting guys who were in Ivy, and like I understand we're younger. This was like in university, but they were like when they would introduce themselves or like come up to you and talk, like the guys would literally be like, I'm so and so, like I'm in Ivy, like that's like they have to say that in the first line, because it's like I have 50,000 followers kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
But it's like,
but that's
what?
The same.
What? Like what? But some people do that.
Yeah, but you know why?
Yeah, ego and like just to look like.
They want to be accepted. They want to be like. They want you to all of a sudden give them respect because they don't give it to themselves. So they're going to use 50,000, 100,000. I'm famous CEO, whatever they're going to drop, so that you immediately give them respect without them earning it. I guess I'm just in shock because it happens
so much. And like Karen told me that I met like another, like whenever I meet someone, I'll tell Karen like about the situation. She's like, oh, if they're actually like cool and the shit, like then they wouldn't do that. And that really stuck with me because now whenever I like meet people, I think about that. But it just like shocks me because some people fail to like to not boast about themselves. It's
not everyone. It's just the patterns that I've observed in my life. You know, what I've been immersed around and been really privileged to experience has made me see, you know, different patterns in life through all different realms of society. Mm-hmm. And you know exactly the levels and you know what things look like and, you know, humble and, you know, conservative, like, and, you know, what that is and what that, you know, you start to read people's aura and through what they say and what they don't say, and none of that really means anything because it's not really, it does, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I feel like we're going on with this one.
Sorry.
So, no, it's great. It's amazing. I want 3 tips right now how to like pull through the bullshit, how to recognize the bullshit. I could call that lady out easily, but I was just like having fun with it.
Uh-huh.
But if it was a little bit more,
you're like, in a place to exactly do that. You did exactly what you should have done.
But how do you?
Because that's you.
Yeah, but like, how would you, for someone in their own life, if they're like doing an audit of the people in their life, because say they've known someone. Oh, what about this example? Like, say that was this lady that I met was my friend for my entire life, and she never did that to me. But then now I'm noticing that she's doing that to other people, like kind of boasting, like introducing herself, like, oh, I got this many followers on this. How, like, so for people watching or listening, how would they realize if the relationships they have in their life are people like that? Like, and it's not bad to be friends with people like that.
No, everyone's a gift. Everyone's a gift. Every single person is a gift to your life, and they attribute to your life differently. So that person, you know,
I think they may need it. I think they need more love. Those people, like, I think you need to like.
They need direction, and they need to go in, and that's a part of what I think this is about. It's about going in instead of hanging out on the out.
So if you have a friend who's like that, who is like, oh, I'm this, like, they define themselves by like a vanity metric.
I don't have friends like that, but
if someone did, how would they help them to serve them?
I would just sit them down and be like, yo, I would be like as direct
and then if they
and
lose
blunt
that
as
friend
forward.
because they get offense.
They wouldn't not. I don't know, I haven't experienced that. Most people appreciate the truth. I don't know. And it's how you deliver it. And if they don't, then it'll sit with them and it'll help them indirectly. The only reason they're not loving on it is because the way that they're feeling, either catching them out in like catching them out in the lie, or like taking their mask off, or them feeling exposed, that pain that they might feel, they might project that on me and then they don't like me for that. Well, I don't care really whether you like me or not. I know I've helped you by giving you that truth. So the long term is good. Mm-hmm. So that's how I see it. And that's it. But if you want to see it like, that person doesn't like me now because I told them what I really thought, even though what you really thought helps them, but you're still caught up in how they reacted to it, then you're not supposed to be telling them that truth. Yeah.
That was
all right. We're like this is like a mad long episode. We're on like 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's all good. As always, if you guys like the video, please like the video on YouTube if you're watching, and comment below and rate and review on podcasts. Like, let us know your thoughts, what you liked, what you didn't, if you even like this free flow style. If you maybe like when we start getting more questions, we'll do a proper structured Q&A episode, so we're literally just addressing questions that you guys have. So all that, just post in the comments. We want to interact with you guys. And thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we hope we could provide as much value. We hope this episode did exactly that. See you next time.
Yeah.